PFAS. No thanks. Pair and polyfluorinated substances are known as PFAS. The pair and polyfluoroalkyl substances, are PFAS, are a group of chemicals that are used to make fluoropolymer coatings and products that resist heat, oil, stains, grease, and water. Why are Dick's Sporting Goods, Patagonia, REI, and other major companies banning PFAS? According to Toxic Free Future, PFAS are known as forever chemicals because they persist and don't break down in the environment. The Bennington Banner recently had a story by Richard Spizy and Malika Vincent of the DEC's, that would be the Department of Environmental Conservation, Site Management Section, said in a release that 123 drinking water wells tested in the fall will be retested, and outreach efforts are planned to conduct further tests throughout the area. Initial test results for 5 of the families of hazardous industrial chemicals do not show any clear indication of the extent or the density of this contamination, according to the DEC release, but it does confirm the presence of PFAS, pair and polyfluoroalkyl substances, in numerous wells in southern Vermont, Bennington area. According to the Minnesota Department of Agriculture, there are quite a few chemicals that they classify as PFAS. Quote, the MDA completed a preliminary screening of all pesticides active ingredients registered in Minnesota in June of 2023, based on registration data from the National Pesticide Information Retrieval System. Over 90 ingredients were identified as meeting the SF 1955 definition of PFAS, unquote. The complete list is available at www.mda.state.mn.us/environment-sustainability/active inert PFAS. From the saferstates.org website, and I quote, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz signed into law the first ever ban in the U.S. on PFAS, or forever chemicals, in cookware, dental floss, and menstrual products as part of the broadest PFAS policy package in the country. The new laws ban all use of PFAS in products by 2032, except those that are necessary for public health requirements, manufacturers to report their use of PFAS in products to the state by 2026, and ban specific uses in several products starting in 2025. Building from existing state laws, Minnesota's new law combines approaches from the laws in Colorado, California, and Washington, which ban PFAS in specific products, as well as with the approach from a Maine law that requires disclosure of PFAS in all products and sets a timeline for eliminating PFAS from all products unless the use of PFAS is deemed currently unavoidable. This bill eliminates PFAS from 13 product categories, the most of any PFAS product-specific bill in the country. In addition to menstrual products and cleaning ingredients and cookware and dental floss, the policy bans PFAS in firefighting foam, food packaging, cosmetics, textiles, carpets, fabric, treated upholstered furniture, children's products, and ski wax. Leaders from Minnesota, including health advocates, legislators, and families impacted by PFAS exposure, as well as states across the country, applaud this move and anticipate more government and corporate policies to follow. Regarding this, one might get the impression that PFAS are something that we don't want in our state's waters, right? Well, not so fast. One of the chemicals on this list of PFASs from Minnesota's Department of Agriculture is a chemical known as fluorpyraxyfen benzyl. This chemical jumped out because it's the active ingredient in a product known as Procelicor. Now, you might have heard about Procelicor. It's the new and improved herbicide made just to kill an invasive species known as Eurasian milfoil. Although not approved by the EPA, it is allowed to be used supposedly to kill just milfoil. It kills other plants too, but never mind. To be clear, there are many different chemicals that are considered to be PFAS, and the EPA is fine with them being used. The EPA is also fine with cancer-causing chemicals, and this is from ProPublica, dated 4/4/23. The Environmental Protection Agency approved a component of boat fuel made from discarded plastic that the agency's own risk formula determined was so hazardous, everyone exposed to the substance continually over a lifetime would be expected to develop cancer. Current and former EPA scientists said that threat levels is unheard of. It is 1,000,000 times higher than what the agency usually considers acceptable for new chemicals. So if PFAS are as bad for us and our environment as many conscientious companies and states believe they are, then why would anyone in Vermont believe it to be a great idea to dump Procelicor, a toxic herbicide with a PFAS, as its main ingredient? Now, I'm sure that there's a perfectly good explanation, something like the amount of PFAS used in Procelicor isn't showing any negative effects on our environment or human health. Well, not yet. But what do we do when 10, 20 years down the road we discover that this forever chemical creates more environmental problems for our state's waters? Will it fall on the taxpayers to be forced to pay astronomical costs to clean up this mess? And why are we using this toxic chemical at all? We're using it to kill a weed that we don't like. A weed that's been in Vermont since 1962. 64 years we've coexisted with this weed. Yes, milfoil can take over shallow waters and be an utter annoyance, but does it really make sense to be fighting and banning PFAS on the one hand and then willingly dumping them in our lakes on the other? Common sense says otherwise. Hopefully the legislature will pass H589 and we can begin the process of restoring some sanity here in Vermont. I'm Bob Stannard, and this is The View from my place.